Chip Reid is with us from the CBS News Washington newsroom. Chip, tremendous reporting by you and your producer, Jen Janisch. I want to ask you about this. Regarding your sources, they didn't just tell you about insufficient programs. You were also told about allegations of excessive spending, right?
That's right. Nearly all of them said that there was excessive spending, a lot of it. And what they focused on, what many of them focused on, was conferences and meetings. And in fact, according to the organization's tax forms, spending on conferences and meetings in 2010 was $1.7 million. 4 years later, in 2014, it was $26 million, an enormous increase. And one thing that people talked about a lot was what they called lavish parties. The organization calls them all hands staff meetings. They go to places like a five-star hotel in Colorado Springs, where sources told us for a 4-day conference, the organization spent $3 million. Now, yesterday in our interview with Captain Cools, he said that figure is not accurate, but he did not have a figure from the organization. They gave us no figure for what it cost, and we have multiple sources saying $3 million.
Wow. So according to your sources, is this a more recent thing, or just how far back does this excessive spending go?
We were told again and again that it started when CEO Stephen Nardizzi came on board in 2009, and he has a philosophy about charities. He says you've got to spend a lot of money to raise a lot of money, and in the long run you're going to have more money, you're going to be able to do more things. But so many of the people we talked to said that a lot of that money that is spent is wasteful spending.
Chip, why do the former employees feel the need to speak out now?
I think there has been a lot of chatter on websites about this for a while, but I think it just reached critical mass, and it probably also has something to do with, as you mentioned, producer Jen Janisch, who is dogged, to say the least, and she got started on this and found all these people saying pretty much the same kind of thing about spending and lack of programs.
So, Chip, despite the accusations, this is an organization that does a lot of good. And to its credit, the Wounded Warrior Project actually told you about a new plan that they're developing for mental health services. Can you tell us about that?
That's right. To their credit, in our interview with Captain Cools yesterday, they said, now there has been a lot of criticism from our sources saying that they do not have adequate follow-up mental health services after they do a Wounded Warrior bike ride or an excursion out into the wilderness. They then say they don't hear anything on the mental health front afterwards. So yesterday, Captain Cools said that the organization is committing $100 million over 3 years to a warrior care network, and that will be in partnership with 4 hospitals nationwide that will provide outpatient mental health services to post 9/11 veterans, and would appear to be a good step in the right direction. Elaine and Anne-Marie.
Certainly services that are definitely needed. Chip Reid, thank you very much.
You bet.
And there's more to come on this investigation. Chip will have another report on the Wounded Warrior Project tonight on the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley.